Hey guys, Jeff here with Ghost Knight Gaming, and we are back with more Let's Plays, and let's play some Final Fantasy. I'm going to be starting my way through the Final Fantasy franchise, playing as many, if not all of the games that I'm able to play. I'm also doing this over on Twitch, so if you want to see live playthroughs of these games, you can check that over at twitch.tv/eldestghostkill. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Let's get this started with Final Fantasy 1. So we are playing the Pixel Remaster version, though if you want to see playthroughs of potentially the original version of the game, we could definitely set something like that up and add that to the playlists here for our Final Fantasy stuff. Let's get our new game going and figure out what we're going to play. I very typically have a general group of characters I usually play. I play with 2 fighters, and I play with a white mage and a black mage. So let's do that. If you guys want to see me do challenge runs of some of these by playing certain particular classes, or just straight fighters only, white mage only, that kind of thing, you're welcome to try to make that happen. One of the ways we can have this happening is if we get to 500, I don't know how to speak, but we're going to try anyway. If we get to 500 subscribers here on the channel, I will start doing challenge runs of this game. This one, we can look at challenge runs for some of the later Final Fantasies as well, and who knows what we could end up with. So first we're going to get all our characters ready to go. And then we'll get into the crux of the story. Alright, there we go. So we now have our protagonists. We're now ready to go. Off we go. The world lies shrouded in darkness. The winds die. The seas rage. The earth decays. But people believe in a prophecy, patiently awaiting its fulfillment. When darkness veils the world, 4 warriors of light shall come. After a long journey, the 4 young travelers did at last appear. But where did they come from? That's a question. And in each hand was clutched a crystal. Where did they travel from? It's kind of a question that we never really get answered. Alright, we have controls, we know how to play the game, right? We push buttons and stuff happens. Look, stuff happens. Alright, let's go to the palace. Hi, how's it going? The king is searching for the prophesied warriors of light. Those crystals, could it be? Maybe. Let's go wandering around the castle. Hi. My sister. I want my sister. Okay. Let's go do something about that. Hey, we can run in this, and that's important. They all have those crystals. You must see the king at once. Yes, you will see the king at once. Hi, guys. Welcome, travelers. I am told you carry crystals. Is this true? Yeah, we picked them up at the dollar store. It's just as Lucane's prophecy foretold. When darkness veils the world, 4 warriors of light shall come. Your Majesty, we cannot be certain that these are the warriors foretold by the prophecy. That's a good man there, doing the Chancellor job there of, hey, 4 kids just showed up with these just random crystals. How can we be sure they are the ones? Yet they stand before us with the crystals. I cannot dismiss this as mere coincidence. I don't know, do you have a lineup of people showing up? Crystal bearers, there is a task I would ask of you. Will you rescue my daughter Sarah? Garland, a knight once in His Majesty's service, has abducted Princess Sarah. I ask for you to aid in the name of His Majesty, the King of Cornelia. Garland has taken refuge in the Chaos Shrine, which lies to our north. Who would build a place near a Chaos Shrine? And who would name it a Chaos Shrine? I feel like these are important things we really need to know. Of course, we did attempt to save the princess ourselves, but Garland is the finest swordsman in the kingdom. We have none who can match him. I have heard that you wish to journey to the continent to our north. The bridge leading north was lost long ago, making passage impossible. If you can rescue Sarah, I will have the bridge rebuilt as a token of my gratitude. So a very important civic project will only be completed if we save his daughter. Because, I mean, I can understand as a father having the priority of your children, but he's also a king. And shouldn't he be, taking care of this kind of thing? Maybe. But what do I know? Go now, warriors of light, and do not fail me. Alright, so we are the brave warriors of light that are supposed to be able to defeat Garland. We are level 1. How the heck are we supposed to beat the guy that is the greatest swordsman in the land? Now, admittedly, Final Fantasy is very heavily, at least the first couple of games, were very heavily based off Dungeons & Dragons. And in a Kingdom's defense, a player character's class levels were typically greater than an NPC's class levels were. A level 1 commoner is not comparable to a level 1 fighter, for example. But let's think about this for a second. He's the greatest person in the land. Now, if you take an average level of a kingdom, we end up with somebody, he's probably around like 5th level, right? That could be a greatest swordsman in the land in a typical D&D setting. But let's look at a couple of things. We have a knife and our shirt. A knife and our shirt. A staff and some clothes. And a staff. We have nothing. Our spellcasters have no magic. And we are supposed to save the princess from the greatest swordsman in the land. Not to be pessimistic, but who the fuck would trust us to do that? Just a thought. Hi, lovely person by the pool. What do you have to say? Hi. Hi there. I'm a dancer. What's that? You want to dance with me? Oh, she doesn't want to dance with us. Actually dance with us. She just wants to tease us. Okay. Well, the first thing I should do is probably prepare for my trip. Thankfully, in the Pixel Remaster, magic is not as expensive as it usually is. Otherwise, we would not be able to afford it. So, we'll get a couple of these things. We'll grab those two, and then we're going to go grab some black magic. He's a black magic caster. Alright, let's get some fire in here, some thunder, and we're good to go. Focus is probably useful, but we'll grab that later. Now, let's go get our fighters something to fight with. We can get rapiers, so they are slightly better, and they're more accurate. Well, okay, less accurate than the knives, but they are better. All right. Oh, and let's give her our white mage a hammer, because that is actually very useful. So optimal, optimal, optimal. Now she hits harder. Now she can carry the team with her healing and her bonk to the head, at least for a little bit. All right, we need something better than clothes. We can buy some chainmail, but we can't dress up anybody else. Now the weight goes up, and I don't quite know what weight does as far as anything, but it lowers our evasion. All right, there we go. Optimal. Oh, all right. We don't have anything else. Thankfully, the nice thing about Final Fantasy 1, and this is something that carries over even to the Pixel Remaster, is that the battles prioritize the people at the top of the encounter for any sort of combat. So, we're going to spend a little bit of time. Let's go fight a couple of things, because we are just level 1. And it's probably not a good idea to go in there just as level 1. We could cast magic, but it would be kind of be a waste, because we only have X number of castings at this point. And we only will get more once we level up just a little bit. Now, between episodes of this series, I may do a little bit of leveling in between. That way you guys don't have to watch me 3 episodes later, like a Dragon Ball Z show, charging up to go and fight the next enemy. So, but we'll fight a couple of things here and there just to get the job done and get to where we need. We don't really need much else to buy from the shops other than maybe buying some additional potions to heal ourselves for a bit, because if we don't have to rely on our spellcasters for that, that's probably in our best interest. Now look at her with that bonk. She's on par. Hey, he's actually bonking pretty solid too here. That's doing pretty good so far. Now our fighters are not going to take a whole lot of damage for various chunks of the game, depending on how well we keep up with armor. Money is definitely the challenge, and that's where if we do a playthrough of the original game, you'll see us having to manage our efforts a whole lot better, because things are more expensive, you aren't getting as much money. A lot of the dungeons, and they ran away, a lot of the dungeons have very high encounter rates, and unless you're very well prepared or ready to run a lot, you're gonna have a rough time going through these locations. Decent hit points off those guys, some stamina and intellect. Stamina is not a terrible thing, but 1 hit point. Our poor Black Mage Dante only gets 1 hit point. That's not going to go well. Unfortunately, he's going to fall behind hit point-wise very, very quickly, unfortunately. But that's okay. We'll make it work. Oh, we just got ambushed, so hopefully he doesn't get picked on, because I said hopefully he doesn't get picked on, goblins, or we may have a problem. Now, one of the things that changed for the Pixel Remaster and a lot of the later incarnations of Final Fantasy 1 is that the targeting, how the targeting works. Typically, the targeting works very simply. You target an enemy. If they die before that character gets a turn to hit that enemy, they lose their attack. So you had to be very careful about managing which enemies you were targeting with your party, otherwise you may very well end up having one person finish off a guy and everybody else whiffing for the rest of that round, while they get picked on by enemies that very typically had a lot of status ailments, which is a very active problem if you don't like being paralyzed a lot. So something to watch out for is status ailments in Final Fantasy 1. Because if you know Final Fantasy the way I do, they love their status ailments. So let's finish this fight, and then that will be it for episode 1 and the start of our adventure with our Warriors of Light. On the next episode, we are going to head off to the Chaos Shrine and deal with a certain knight and save a princess. If you enjoyed this, feel free to subscribe to the channel, check out some of the other videos, and stay tuned for our next episode in our playthrough of Final Fantasy I. Have fun, keep gaming, and I will see you guys again next time.